Concord, an e-bike brand sold at Walmart, and there's not just one of these models. These are the Commutr. There's two of them, a step-through and a high bar version. I have reviews on both of these. I'll link down in the description. A little spoiler, I was impressed then. I'm still impressed to this day, especially given the value that these are at. But also, I said in that video that there were subtle little differences between these two models, little things that actually surprised me given the dollar amount, because usually when you have something at a very, very good price, they make as minimal changes as they can to maximize the use of available components. But on these two bikes, there are some subtle differences between the two, and I want to talk about that today, as well as go over a few specs, some cross compatibility, and also some changes. First, what is different between these? Well, obviously the main thing is going to be the high bar frame and the color, and the step through frame and this color. White and gray high bar step through. But there are subtle differences right in front of your eyes here. Let me just start off up at the bars. The bars are different between the two models. On this step through, it has a higher sweep. It has a more friendly Commutr feel, narrow in comparison. Just look at that. You can clearly see the width difference, the sweep. They sit entirely different, and this gives the bikes a very different feel when you're riding them. I said this bike felt more like a cruiser, and this one felt like a little rocket. Even though they have the same motor and the same power, they ride very different, and a lot of that is just the seating position and the difference between the bars. But also, getting back to the seating position, the seat, that's different. I said this rode like a cruiser. Well, look at this. A nice wide beefy saddle, but go over here to this one and look at this. The saddle subtly different. Side by side on camera, you can see the width difference and the padding difference. Very, very visible. Cruiser style, straight on Commutr, but like city Commutr, that fast city. And even the smallest of comfort details subtly different. Look at the grip here, and then look at this grip. More of a comfort grip, the extended grip area, more cruiser style, like I said, where this, more of a traditional grip, straight on street Commutr type grip. And I keep saying Commutr because, well, they are the Commutr, but there's fast Commutr, even though speeds are the same, and there's cruiser feel Commutr. So just to stress that, this step through has a definite cruiser vibe to it, more laid back, casual comfort, where this setup, just with the subtle differences, especially here at the bars, the grips in the seat and the high bar, this feels like a fast courier type bike. That's probably the better terming for this, a courier feel. We want to get through stuff fast in the city. Want to be more laid back right around the park, or get to work, but in a very comfortable fashion. This, a comfort bike. So there's the key differences that I was mentioning when I said in the review that there were differences between these two, and that shocks me because when you're down to budget pricing, and these are very much budget priced. I haven't looked recently, but the last time I looked, well, I'm not even gonna say, I'll just put it on your screen. Very affordable. And when you get into affordable bikes, almost always the parts are the same between the two, because that's how they keep costs down. These, though, different, not only with the high bar and the step through, but little subtle parts, very shocking, and that shows the attention to detail they were thinking through these rides. Wanted each bike to be the best at what it does, and these very much are. But I'm not done with details yet. I still have a little more to talk about. I've been asked about the motor brand. I don't have any brand to provide you, but it's the same motor on both bikes. Here's the model number. On this one, they'll be exactly the same, 350 watts. Now, I do have the newton meters, the torque output of these two motors. 45 newton meters is the torque output. IP rating. You get into the electronics and, well, just all the stuff. These have an IPX5 rating. Is there a UL listing for this battery? People have asked, and I've been told this bike is listed SGS to comply with UL 2849 certification requirements. So there you go, some UL listing What about cell type, cell brand? Well, I don't have the cell brand, but the cell type is 18650. How much weight can these ferry, meaning the rider and cargo? 220 pounds is the rated capacity for these bikes. Battery. Can you get replacements for this battery? Well, I asked this question a while back, and they told me that replacements were coming, but there were no pricing on the replacements, but there was information in the owner's manual about warranty parts. So I will defer to the owner's manual for anyone that buys these bikes. There are replacement batteries available for these. And speaking of the batteries, one thing someone asked me, it's not always a given if you have a step through and a high bar bike that the batteries are interchangeable. You just saw me take this one out of this bike. Let's pop it right in here in this bike, and it works perfect. Interchangeable battery between the two bikes. So if you're a couple, have his or hers or two bikes, look at that. The batteries in and out between the two bikes. Pretty awesome. And that catches us up, at least from my original review, where I said I was going to catch you up on some details. It's been a while, but now you have that information. But I have a little more information because something has changed about these bikes. Not the colors, not the batteries, not any of those other components. Well, some components. But I'm going to point to this. And I'm going to convert to voiceover because I want to discuss the Class 1 that was the Concord Commutr when I reviewed it. However, if you currently go to the Walmart website and search for Concord Commutr, you will see duplicates of the same thing. Actually, 4 listings, and they're all $498. But if you look closer, 2 of them, well, they don't say Class 2. The other 2 do have Class 2 in their listing. Now, I knew Class 2 existed for this bike, and it was not too long after I made the review that they rolled out a Class 2 model. I thought the Class 2 would supersede the Class 1, but based on now being quite some time later, and there's still Class 1 and Class 2 bikes being listed, again, same price, but Class 1 and Class 2, it makes me think that they're just going to keep the offering with both. Or are they? Because if I go into this Class 1 high bar listing, you can see that only 8 are left. Now, Walmart's inventory, sometimes things will go out of stock and then come back in. So at this moment, I'm unsure if Class 1 and Class 2 will always exist side by side or if these are just leftover Class 1s. What I do know is currently there are Class 1 and there is Class 2. This brings up the question, what is Class 2 when it comes to the Concord Commutr? More specifically, what's different between the Class 1 and the Class 2? Because they have the same motor, the same battery, but if you go into the listing, you'll see this. That is a thumb throttle. For orientation, we're on the right side of the bars, right next to the shifter. Within easy reach of your thumb, there's the brake lever. Now, another byproduct of this, at least according to feedback from viewers, because I haven't seen one of these Class 2 hands-on, but you'll see the extra cable there. I'm told that this Class 2 not only has a thumb throttle, but it also has a motor cutoff switch integrated into the brake lever, something missing on the Class 1. I noted that in my review. Viewers that say they have this Class 2 say it has a motor shutoff switch along with the thumb throttle. And that makes sense. With the thumb throttle, that extra safety feature would be nice. But as of right now, note that there are one of each. There is a step through in both Class 1 and Class 2, and a high bar in Class 1 and Class 2, and the Class 2 have a thumb throttle. A feature highly requested when I unveiled these bikes in my original review. Well, Walmart is listening, and they're making this Concord brand something special. And Concord isn't just e-bikes. There are Concord bike parts. There are Concord cruiser bikes. I saw at my local Walmart. You'll be seeing them on this channel soon. But for this video, that wraps up my update on the Concord Commutr, both the step through and the high bar. What parts are different between the two bikes? What is cross compatible? And that existing at the time of this video side by side with the Class 1 is a Class 2 version of this bike with the much requested thumb throttle. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me down in the comments section and I'll let you know what I know. And I also want to know what you think about the Class 2 variant of this bike and all the new information I've given you. Thanks so much for watching. Links down in the description to both of these bikes, Class 1 and Class 2. Have a great day.